It's Saloot Magazine, and we are here in the basement right now with DJ RAGZ, the one and only. Got all the stuff, all the equipment. We got a great segment for y'all. And as of right now, we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into the interview, so that way we get him on these ones and twos.
Do it.
Yeah, of course we all know you're DJ RAGZ. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Roseville, California, and then I was in the Air Force.
Okay.
And that brought me out. Actually went overseas, and then ended up in D.C. working in the Pentagon.
What part of overseas?
I was in the Azores, which is like a group of islands about 800 miles off the coast of Portugal. I was on an island called Terceira Island, and there was nothing to do, but as you know, what I always say, practice. So I got to practice a lot. That's where I learned most of the DJ stuff, was just out there overseas, nothing else to do. You know, it was like almost third world, so I just sit at home all day and practice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this right here has got my ear. It sounds like a Sugar Hill Gang. Like the movie Sugar Hill Gang. What's this that we're listening to?
This is a flip by my man 00 Schizo, and what you'll hear in the background is just a series of his beats. We're working on a project right now where it's going to be a whole album with his beats, and then I'm going to do instrumentation using the turntables over top of it. We'll use a couple MCs like Rafik of Cold Fiction and John, a couple other local guys. So yeah, I'm excited about it because it's coming out really good. Gonna get some other DJs to do some cuts on it. You know, just get a lot of locals.
Sounds like,
Yeah. So it'll change. Like there's highs and lows on the mix. We want it to sound very authentic and true to like a certain jazz style. And then the next one you'll hear like some like African rhythms, and then some will be just super boom bap hip hop. It's like a combination of everything.
Okay.
But just hoping to kind of combine it all together the right way.
All right. You said jazz, which also brings me to the Jazz Addicts. That's,
Yeah.
A group that you're a part of. What's the Jazz Addicts, and how did you get started with them?
So we were in this bigger crew. I had moved here in the DMV area, and I was involved with this crew, and most of the crew was headed more towards a commercial sound. But there were a few of us that really wanted that whole Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul type vibe, and we didn't want to leave that sound.
Okay.
So myself and an MC named Mud, who actually taught me how to make beats, we got together and he just kept playing beat after beat, and we just decided it'd be really cool to like do a project together. We had no idea that it was going to get us, you know, signed in Japan on Goon Tracks, signed in Miami with multiple
You guys
releases.
are a big deal in Japan, aren't you?
Yeah, we main display in Tower when they had Tower, and big lit up signs of us, and it was really cool. It was a really cool scenario. But you know, nowadays we've all kind of taken a different direction. So we worked on an album a few years ago, but we haven't worked on anything since, really. Yeah.
At what age did you start DJing? And tell us the story of how you got into it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna date myself real quick. So I started in '89, and I was 16, and I saw the movie Beat Street with my mom. We saw it in the theater, and I fell in love with it. I said, one day I'm gonna do that. You know, one day I'm gonna get some turntables and really do it. And then I met a DJ by the name of DJ Wolf, and I wanted him to teach me, and he said, you got to show me how serious you are. So I knew another guy that really wasn't serious about DJing that had a setup. So I bought his setup, showed up at the house, and then he started showing me how to DJ, and then he ended up he's still my best friend to this day.
Okay.
DJ Wolf.
You said Beat Street?
Beat Street, yeah.
Okay. In '89, I was 6 years old. But I just recently saw that movie on VH1. Had no idea what I was looking at, but but I paid attention to it. I watched it a little bit, and I was telling one of my friends that I was watching that movie. You ever saw Beat Street?
Yeah.
Nah, actually I didn't.
Yeah, it's
but,
great.
Great. DJ RAGZ, how did you get that name?
So I didn't really know how it all worked. I had always been called RAGZ my whole life because I was on a baseball team and there was like 5 Bryans. And I showed up to a battle and they're like, what's your DJ name? And I was like, it's Brian. And the lady was like, listen, it's not gonna fly here.
It's not cool.
It's not cool, right? So So like, well, I play baseball, and they call me Rags, and they're like, DJ Rags, that's it. And then I found out there was another DJ Rags who spelled it with an S. And he had already established himself in San Diego, so out of respect for him, I changed it to a Z, just to kind of make sure that like he knew I wasn't trying to like take his name or anything like that. He wasn't a battle DJ, so it wouldn't have been like a, hey, let's battle for names or whatever. And back then it was kind of like that, you know, there was a lot of little battles that would pop off just for any old reason, just like how B-boys, how they would, you know, solve their differences by dancing. With DJs it was a similar thing, but I kind of knew that like I was a battle DJ, he was more of like, he was DJing on the radio and making break records and stuff like that, and I didn't know if he was a battle DJ, so just out of respect I just quickly changed the name.
Okay. Would you say learning the craft was easy? Did it come natural to you?
No, I sucked. Yeah, I was out of all my friends, so there was a little group of us, and we were called Tripping Off Wax. It was like, it's kind of corny, but it was like a few of us out in California that were trying to learn, and I was always the last person to learn something. I was kind of like the butt of the joke. Well, if Rags got it and you don't, you know, you need to sell your stuff, you know, that kind of shit.
You know, the last one is always the one that ends up being the best.
So like when I went overseas, and I had nothing to do but practice, you know, and so that for me was it was really important. And also being in the military, like learning discipline and applying discipline to DJing is very similar, you know, because you're practicing click patterns and moving the record a certain way over and over and over, and most people are like, oh my god, you're crazy, I can't stand the sound anymore, but you know, you're dedicated to it, so you keep wanting to step your game up, you know.
DJ Rags is left-handed, right?
Yes.
How does that play a role in the way you learn? How does that play a role in what you do now, and how does that play a role in how you teach others how to DJ?
Yeah, so that's been the hard thing for me, because you know, back in the day we didn't have a lot of this technology that they have now. So I use the fader in the opposite direction that everybody else does, and I don't know if that's correlated to being left-handed, but I'm pretty sure it does. So I do everything backwards, you know, and when I beat juggle I do everything. So when I borrowed my friend's equipment to learn, I hooked up everything backwards because it felt more natural to me, and everybody thought, oh, you're learning it backwards, you're never gonna get anywhere with this, you know? And I was like, well, I'm just gonna still do it anyway. And come to find out, there's a lot of people that DJ with the fader in reverse mode, like DJ Qbert, one of the greatest scratchers of all time from back in the day to this day forward. And you know, he's using the fader in the same manner with the reverse style. They call it hamster style for left-handers, I guess.
Well, for those that do not know, DJ Rags is the one who taught me how to DJ.
That's right.
And it was actually easier the way he DJ'd with his left hand, because when I'm standing on the other side, I can actually get a better view of what's going on. So it actually makes sense when I'm standing on the opposite side.
You know, I got a funny story for you, and I don't know if you can edit it out or whatever, but the funniest story that I have with you when I was teaching you was when we had that other kid in the class who got the controller, and you were killing the game. You were the best student in the class by far. It wasn't even close.
You don't have to say that for the camera.
No, for the real talk, real talk. And then this guy was mixing house, and it sounded flawless because everything had the same drum and the same speed, and I could tell that T was a little upset at the end of class, and like some of her swagger was gone. And I said, T, what's going on with you? And I held her back from class. I said, what's going on with you? And you were like, oh, he surpassed me. His mixes sound so much cleaner than mine.
I have to be the best.
And I started laughing. I was like, he's not better than you.
Right.
And you were like, how so? I said, go home and mix 4 house songs together. And then you came back the next week and you were like, I still got it. Because you realized that hip-hop is the hardest thing to mix. It is. By far.
It is.
By far.
House music, it's all done.
It's all 118 BPM, same sound. So when you saw that, you started to freak out, but you didn't understand that, like.
Right. Now I see why he chose house music.
It was super easy.
And I was doing hip hop.
And that guy was all about shortcuts, and that's why he didn't stay in class very long.
Right.
Yeah.
When did you notice that you were a really great DJ?
You know
And
what? It's
I don't mean to
funny.
cut you off. When did you notice you were a really great DJ, and when did you decide you wanted to make a career out of it?
So it's really funny. Like I still think of myself as this like 16-year-old kid that was listening to Big Daddy Kane or Dougie Fresh, and just a student of the
Those are
game.
big
So
names, too.
when I look
A lot
at
of
it,
people out there probably don't even know who they are.
Slick Rick, yeah. So when I look at those things, I just think of myself as a kid, riding my bike to school, listening to cassettes, you know. So I still, like, when I do shows and I open up for really big people or something like that, I never really think like that I got to this crazy level with it. But when I look at the resume and some of the battles and some of the accomplishments, it makes me feel good. But I still like to consider myself that kid in the room that doesn't really focus on anything but still trying to get better. There's still things I'm trying to learn.
Is there anything that you feel like you need to get better on?
Yeah, I mean, tons of things. There's so many patterns with beat juggling and scratching that it's a never-ending battle. And I'm always frustrated, and I have to learn, like when I teach classes at the Beat Refinery, I gotta remember that it's muscle memory, and you're not gonna get it right away, and there's just a time that you have to put in and a time to get involved. So like, you know, I've been DJing so long, you would think that you'd learn something like that, but it's just like when you learn, it's learning that muscle memory. So it still takes me a long time to learn stuff.
Is there anything new out there? Any new techniques out there?
I mean, they're creating so many scratches.
That's
Right
what I was
now,
saying.
like I've been really getting good with more of the flare combinations, but now they're doing scratches like boomerangs, 3-click flares. I've been really messing with a lot of orbit flares. There's a lot of chasing patterns with beat juggling, like doing doubles and triples on this beat juggle called strobes. It's all nerdy stuff, but there's just so much out there to learn, and also using a lot of this new technology, like, you know, cue points, effects, and how you're going to use it to build your set. You know, nowadays when you enter a competition, it's not just doing really difficult tricks, but also putting something together and having that aw shit moment or a wow factor to your set. So yeah, it's always evolving and never ending, and that's what I love about it. That's why I still do it.
Scratching is like skateboarding to me. Like
Yeah.
Tony Hawk does all these different
Exactly.
tricks and everything, and I only know about 5 different scratches, and that's it.
That's a good
So,
comparison. That's a really good comparison.
growing up, there was a lot of DJs out there. Name a few of them that inspired you.
Well, Jazzy Jeff was the biggest one. Like I would take his record and play it on this side and then stop it and then try to mimic it on the other side. You know, that was a big thing. So
Doing
when I
it
actually
by
got to meet him and tell him the story about like training by watching
How
him.
was it like meeting DJ Jazzy?
Oh, it's crazy. I was judging a battle that he was hosting in the early 2000s, and I got a chance to meet him, and it was an honor. Let's see, some of the others. DJ Joe Cooley, he was in a group called Rodney and Joe Cooley, and there was a guy named General Jeff in the crew. And Joe Cooley was from LA, he was really good. Another group called Low Profile had a DJ from Compton named DJ Aladdin, and he was no joke. I'm naming West Coast DJs because I'm a little biased. You know, Mixmaster Mike, he used to DJ in the parks in Sacramento back in the early 80s. So some of my first visions of a DJ was Mixmaster Mike. God, there's so many good DJs. So many good ones. DJ Miz, DJ Scratch, God, Richie Rich from Third Base. So many good DJs. One of my favorites though, when I was in high school.
Named DJ Q-Bert. What's his name, Mike?
Oh yeah, DJ Qbert, yeah, and I got a chance to meet him last year, which was
I looked
cool.
at a lot of his stuff on YouTube when I was learning how to scratch.
Yeah.
I turned it off real quick because there was no way I was going to get that.
He's like the Jimi Hendrix of the scratch. Like he's the greatest, you know. DJ Magic Mike was probably my biggest influence when I first started, because I liked that Miami bass music for a while, that really fast style, and scratching really fast. He was the master of that. So.
DJing and turntablism was generated in the hip hop culture. You started way back when hip hop was real and original, and as it started to flourish, what kept you interested in DJing?
seeing it evolve, and then also like, you know how you're saying it's like skateboarding. It's like you're always trying to learn that next trick, and that's the fun thing about it. And then you start to just become a part of the culture. You know, you do it so long that all your friends are in it, and then it becomes like an extension of you. Like I have a lot of insecurities, just like everybody does. So DJing is that thing that I can come to when I had a bad day, and I can just turn my music up all the way and just lose myself, or maybe I could work on something and do something that sounds good, that gives me like a better feeling, you know, because we all have our ups and downs in life, and DJing for me has always been there for me.
Did you ever venture out in any other parts? Because we all know hip hop has 5 elements: MCing, b-boying, DJing, turntablism. Did you ever graffiti? Did you ever decide you want to venture out in another?
I'm just that guy that's never a natural talent.
Okay.
So whenever I try something at first, I'm not just bad, I'm really bad. And whatever it is, I have to focus on it.
I can't tell that you're bad. You're bad in a good bad.
Thank you.
I can't tell that.
Some of my older friends
would
know exactly what I'm talking about, but like same thing, you know, like I was a baseball player, a runner, and a DJ, and I did some skateboarding and snowboarding, and that was about it. Everything else was just very difficult. You know.
As we all know, hip hop has changed since back then.
Yeah.
And it will continue to change.
Yeah.
Same thing with DJing. DJing has changed, and it's going to continue to change. But how do you look at DJing today? What I mean by that is there's a lot of shortcuts. We see controllers out there. We see you go to any party, any wedding, and you see DJs with an iPod or a controller. What's your take on the new way of DJing?
So my whole take on just technology in general with DJing is I like to incorporate the things that make sense to me, but I can also put on a show the way I want to put on a show. I don't hate on all the other forms of technology, but I just choose to use the ones that I can still be authentic with, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Like, I'm never that DJ that says, oh, that guy sucks, or that guy's using a controller, I don't want to hear him. I've seen some guys on controllers absolutely kill it and destroy it. So it's all about whatever you want to use and whatever you like. I prefer turntables and kind of the more old school method, but you know, then again, I did start in the late 80s.
To me.
Yeah.
Scratching with a controller and actual vinyl sounds completely different to me. And it's like you could step in a club and tell what the DJ is working on, whether it's a controller or a vinyl.
Yeah.
Also, with that being said, when you're teaching at the Beat Refinery and someone walks in with controllers, what do you advise them?
You know, I do like to try to sell them on the turntables. You know, at the Beat Refinery, that's usually what we teach on. There will be private lessons where, you know, I'll teach on a controller, and it's okay, but I just like the availability of getting to where I need to get to, how this feels, how big the record is. I feel like you could be really intricate with a record as opposed to a controller, but not to take away, because I have seen some really great controller DJ sets, and I've seen people do a battle style with a controller and do it at a high level. And just me personally, if I saw it on turntables, I would appreciate it more.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I guess I'm a little stuck in my roots on that, you know.
Would you say it's harder for a DJ to move from a controller to vinyls versus vinyls to controllers?
Yes. That's why we teach on the turntables, because if you learn it on the turntables, the characteristics of a vinyl on top of this platter of a turntable is much different than just a controller where it doesn't move.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of different characteristics that you have to get used to on a turntable that with a controller you can kind of jump in and kind of understand how it feels.
5 elements of hip hop, one being MCing, the other being DJing, turntablism. Both of them complement each other. Run DMC has a run on the right. Fresh Prince and then DJ Jazzy
Jazzy
Jeff.
Jeff.
In today's world, they both really broke out in its own way. You know, like it's still hip hop, but you catch DJs in rave clubs. You know,
Right.
with the fist pump and
Yeah,
everything. You know,
yeah.
you can also catch an MC on a pop record, a pop track,
Right.
or a country record.
That's right.
If you had to choose, would you say one's bigger than the other? If so, which one?
So, yeah, that's probably the most complicated question because of the fact that MCs, for them to make, like, so, for them to become big fish, right? The big fish are bigger than the big fish of DJing as far as money goes, in my opinion. There are some DJs that make some serious cash. You like Jay-Z, you know, owning part of a basketball team, stuff like that. But if you look at it at a lower level of just trying to make it or get by or make it your full-time job, a DJ route can go so much easier because you, like, I can go out and DJ a wedding or DJ a high school girl's graduation and then enter a DJ battle the next week. Like, I don't have to just put myself into one category. But Jay-Z can't go do, you know, this style and then change to that style and then change to this style like overnight.
So they'll call him a sellout.
Yeah. So
all
like,
sorts of other
so like, you know, I do all kinds of events. You know, I do clubs, I do weddings, I do house parties, I get in where I fit in. You know, I do all the parties for corporate gigs.
The easiest? What gig is easiest for you to do?
The easiest gigs are the ones that I can play like 90s hip hop or underground hip hop. I can just be me. I feel comfortable. When I'm playing something that's more not in my realm, I always have this like insecurity, like, am I playing this right? Because I don't listen to it on my off time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, if I can do like a 90s hip hop party, it's kind of like I'll laugh at it because that's my wheelhouse.
The hardest for me is a censored set.
Oh yeah. I can totally see that for you.
I hate doing censored. If
Yes.
I can't play
I know
all
that for
the
sure.
words, I have a problem. Now, of course, a good DJ would be able to break into their clean profile, put on
But
clean
that's your
music,
thing, though.
But
Yeah.
that's not what I download.
Yeah.
That's not what I
No, we
own.
know.
Okay. So the battle, the
Yes.
true essence of DJing, the battle. You've been in a lot of competitions.
Yes.
You've battled a lot.
Yeah.
I've known you to be very, very successful. How does that feel to?
That's I just got goosebumps just thinking about it. It's cool. It's the most nerve-wracking. Like when I DJ a party, my hand's not shaking when I DJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I'm in a battle, I have a hard time just putting the needle on the record. I'm so nervous. You know, because I'm with my peers and I'm giving them my best and I want to do well. But once you get into the groove of it and you get the spirit of it, like a different part of me comes out that I normally can't be. Like I kind of have this more edgy side that I can't portray when I'm at work or, you know, when I'm just walking around or if I'm hanging out or if I'm in a club talking to people. I'm a lot more quiet than if I'm in a battle and I'm going, like let's say I'm going head to head against you. I'm going to make the record say some really terrible things about you,
Some
and
disrespectful
I'm gonna
stuff.
be looking at you like we're not friends, even
Right.
though we are friends. You know, perfect scenario. This little thing right here,
Mhm.
I got this for winning a battle at U-Haul a couple years
Coast to
ago.
coast.
To Coast mixtapes. I won the Mid-Atlantic battle,
Mhm.
and it was a head-to-head battle. So it was me having to diss people to go on a 5-day trip to Miami and compete for
I have
the.
a question right here just for that whole
Okay, all right.
this thing.
Yeah.
Before I get into that, you did teach me how to correct myself or not let it be known that I messed up when I'm doing a set.
Yeah.
Are you able to do that when you're battling somebody?
Yeah, and you have to. You have to. And it doesn't matter, like, a lot of the times the crowd, and I learned this in a speech class, a crowd that is watching you present yourself, they want to see you do good. There's just a very small percentage of people that want to see you do bad. So if you have that mentality...
Rooting for the other person.
What's that?
They're probably rooting for the other person.
Yeah, exactly. So if you go in there knowing that, hey, they're coming here to see a show. They're not coming here to see whatever. If you're selling them most of the time and you have a little skip up and you need to rewind the record or fast forward it one or two, throw a couple little clicks in there until you get to the sound that you want, and then just improvise something and let it go and make it seem like... But if you start like shaking your head and you start getting upset, that's the only way the crowd knows that you really messed up bad. Because a lot of times you're your own worst critic, right?
Right.
You know? I'm sure like your sister's probably seen you DJ and you're like, I'm doing terrible, and she probably was like,
and I hate that, because she's like, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's like, you didn't hear that? Hear what?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what you're talking about, because I hear it. That's another thing you have to learn. You have to learn to use your ears at all times.
Yeah.
I remember you were telling me, stop looking at the screen. Just use your ears.
Yeah.
Your ears will tell you.
Yeah.
Ears never fail.
Because I could see that you felt music.
Right.
That's why I would tell you that specifically. Because you felt it.
And you know, before I even took your class, I never even noticed stuff like on the radio. You know, and after, you know, getting well acquainted with the turntables, I'm sitting up there and listening to the radio. I'm like, he's speeding this up for no reason. Mm-hmm. Why is he slowing this down like that? And it's real crazy. So my ears, I have a good ear.
Of course, yeah.
Now, tell us the very first time you stepped to the turntables and battled somebody, and what was the outcome of it?
The first time I was in California, and it was a house party, and there was a backyard, and I had only been DJing for 6 months, and there was this guy in my town called Devious. He spelled it DVS, and he was like the baddest dude in our area, and so, you know, we're DJing and stuff, and he comes into the party, and he's like, hey, play a couple songs and then I'm gonna jump on. Well, it was my equipment. He was never scheduled to DJ, and so I kind of took a little bit of offense to it. So I said, if you want to get on these turntables, you got to battle me. And he was like, oh, word? And I was like, I'll go first. And he goes, okay, even better. You chose
to go first?
Yeah. So I had this record by Original Concept. The song is called Pump That Bass. And in the song it goes, get a little stupid, get a little stupid, get a little stupid, and pump that bass. So I took the record and I went, get a little stupid, get, and I was switching hands. Get a little stupid, and I walked over to the side, and I was standing over to the side, and he was on the other side, and I was like, get a little stupid, and I went, and I looked at him, and I flipped him off, and then went, pump that bass, and then when the bass hit, I powered it off, and I was like, what you got? And he was like, oh man, I'm good, like, you just go ahead and DJ the rest of the night. Like, he didn't even want to get on. So, and at the time, my friend who taught me, DJ Wolf, was like, Rags, what are you doing? You're so stupid. Why are you trying to step to this guy? And I was like, don't worry about it. And all I had was that one routine. So if you called my bluff, I would have lost. But I thought there was a really tight thing that I had worked on that I hadn't showed anybody until that night. And so like,
you wasn't nervous?
Oh, I was really confident. I was weird. Oh yeah.
Hey, keys. Okay.
Some schizo, double O schizo beats. Yeah, he's incredible. Nice. He's incredible. He's incredible.
Name some heavy hitters that you had to go up against.
So DJ Dummy, I had to battle him, but his older brother was LS1, who was a DJ for
LS1.
He was a DJ for Onyx and DMX. For their stage shows, and he whooped my ass pretty bad. But he was a really nice guy, and he taught me a lot. He's
really nice, but he whooped your ass pretty bad.
He whooped my ass pretty bad, but he was cool backstage. But no, it was cool. Lesson learned. He taught me some cool things. Craze, DJ Craze, like, he's one of my favorites as well. He's just incredible. Total Eclipse, DJ ID, one of the teachers at the school.
DJ ID. That was the very first instructor I've ever had, but I've only worked with him for 2 days. He had something come up very, very important, which I don't blame him. He was doing some stuff, and one day I walked in and RAGZ was there. He was the new teacher.
Yeah. And it's funny
RAGZ said,
because
forget you guys, I'm gonna go big.
it's funny because I used to teach him when he was a kid, you know, and then he evolved. And he's actually one of my top 5 favorites. Not being biased, not because we're friends, but
Right.
if I had a top 5 list, he's on that list for sure. Ideas.
If I had a top 5, both of y'all would be on that list.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so he's incredible. And there's a lot of young guys now that are killing it that I respect. Like,
that's my next question.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Name some DJs today that capture your ear and that you have a lot of respect for.
DJ Beckett from Canada. DJ Throwdown, who is an instructor at the Beat Refinery, has one. I love Trey's for his party styles.
What's his name?
DJ Trey's.
Oh, I thought you said I love Trey's. I thought that was his name.
Oh, yeah. God, there's so many good DJs. Remedy, DJ Select, who I train with. He's the guy who pretty much taught me most of the scratches that I do today. Guy's incredible. I owe him like pretty much everything. See, young guys. I said Throwdown. He's one of my favorites right now. There's a guy named DJ Manuel from LA. He's dope. DJ Ease. God, there's so many. You go on and on.
Next question. You've battled online, in person. He's battled accidentally, not by choice. we'll get to that. But online and in person, which one do you enjoy most? And which one is actually harder to do?
So like there's 3 actually. Like there's the one that you do like in your room and videotape it, and then you do the online battle. And then there's the one where you do like a performance piece, and then they judge on the best performance piece. And then there's a head-to-head where you're battling against that guy on the other side, and each round is who was better out of that round until you get to the final 2. And I like those because I like the trash talk, and I like to make it. I like the attitude that goes behind it. Like we're buddies backstage, right? You know, we've got our backpacks on. We're talking to each other, talking about our kids. You know, all that other stuff. Everything's great.
In the back of your mind, you're saying, "Oh."
And then we get on stage, and you would think that we hated each other, and then we go backstage, and it's like, "Oh man, you got me good on that one." You know, it's like.
Would you think hip hop? Would you think rap battles is like that? Because it seems like rap battles, they don't know the difference between.
Yeah.
This is just in essence, this is part of.
It's like an entertainment.
The game.
Yeah.
You have to battle, but when we walk off that stage, you know.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those battles go horribly wrong, where they like end up like punching each other or whatever. I've never seen a DJ battle where that's happened. So yeah.
You haven't. I've never heard of 2 DJs killing each other. I've
seen drama unfold between 2 DJs just because the personalities don't match, but I've never seen 2 DJs battle each other and then want to fight afterwards because of the battle. But I have seen that with MCs, or maybe they fight during the battle. I've seen a few of those videos on YouTube.
Now, like I said a few minutes ago, you have battled accidentally. I remember of this story you telling me of a DJ that went over his set. You were supposed to go after him, and that kind of turned into a battle. Tell everybody that story.
So I don't really condone this, but sometimes you have to hold your ground. I was new to Virginia, and I was DJing a party in Fredericksburg, and it was a small house party. But this guy kept saying, one more song, and he was like carrying me. It was almost like he was trying not to get me to DJ, and then I knew his friend was going on after him. So I felt like they were weeding me out. So I was like, I'm gonna get on right now. And the guy was in the front of the crowd, like watching to see what I was gonna do, and he was already hating. So I took the records and I made them say something to diss, and then I pointed at him, and then I threw on a beat, and I scratched Too Short saying bitch, and every time it said bitch, I'd look up at him and I'd flip him off.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, nobody in Fredericksburg had really seen that. They had heard of like DJ Rectangle, which is another OG, doing like mixtapes where they cut it up and stuff. But in that town, they'd never seen anybody do it live. And then I did it. It was more of like a house style party. I showed up playing hip hop. I had my little 40 ounce on the side, you know, and I just had that like battle mentality, and it was cool because it let people know like I'm not playing. I want to start doing things here. But then when I got off stage, you know, we had a little conversation. I said, hey, you know, nothing personal, but you know, like you kept pushing me off, and I'm trying to prove myself out here, and this is my one opportunity, and you're holding me back from it. So of course, I'm gonna have to let you know what I'm coming with, you know, and it was cool. We actually ended up being cool after that. But
I just feel like there's a lot of DJs out here who don't have that battle type mentality, and I feel like every DJ, if you are a DJ, you should know how to battle, and you should know how to chirp at least, you know, something besides just going in there, put on a track and play it. There's some DJs that just play music behind music and don't even mix and blend. So.
Yeah. I know back in the early 90s, like, we would keep records in the trunk of our car, even if we weren't DJing or weren't expected to DJ, in case there was a situation where you get to DJ and kind of show up, and you'd always put your battle shit in the trunk of your car.
So do you already have your battle stuff geared up and ready to go just in case you have to?
Always, yeah. I have like on my keychain, oh, it's not down there. On my keychain, I have like a little flash drive. And it plugs in, and then it gets noticed, and it has all my sets. But back in the day, when it was records, I'd just bring, you know, real records to the scene.
What was the biggest competition you have ever won, and how did you feel about it?
You know, I probably wouldn't say it was one that I won, but it was the, and it's funny because it's not my favorite format of DJing, but the 2013 online World DJ Championships, I placed in the top 10 in the world, and that did a lot for me. It changed a lot of things, yeah. And it was cool because I had came back from not DJing in battles for 10 years. And I came back a lot in part to you guys as students always telling me that I need to battle again and stuff like that. And it kind of inspired me, and I wanted you guys to see that I could do it. And
I remember when you
I
hit
wasn't
me up
just
and
teaching
said,
it.
hey, go take a look.
Yeah.
Looked at it. And I think, you know, when you say the world, that's one big thing because DJing is really, really big in Japan now.
Yeah.
You know, it started where hip-hop started in, what, the Bronx, I think?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, hip-hop, the whole thing, b-boying, all of that started in the Bronx.
Definitely in New York.
And now DJing is just all over.
All over.
China,
and it was cool because...
Japan is really big on it.
Yeah. That year that I placed in the top 10, there was only one other person in the top 10 from the U.S.
Yeah? Who was that?
So it was this guy, the beat molester out of Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really
name
crazy
is that?
name. Yeah, he's a super cool guy. Definitely deserved to be in there. He's from Seattle, and he's always bringing it. Always bringing it. So the fact that like I came back, and it's funny because I just wanted to do that one battle, and then disappear again, which I kind of did. Yeah.
The Bobby Fischer of DJing.
It was cool.
When you judge battles, what is it that you're looking for in each set? When you judge battles, competitions?
Everything, but the most important thing that you should do in all sets is being clean. Like, I want to be able to have an experience where I sit down and I'm smiling while I'm watching. Being
by
clean.
What do you mean by that for other people?
Being precise. Like, you're beat juggling and I could bob my head to it, or you're doing a really fast back and forth. I want to hear how clean that sounds. I want to hear how clean all your clicks are on your crossfader when you're scratching. I want to hear everything be so clean where you're just like, that was a really nice presentation.
Right.
I would even say that I prefer that over being super technical. If you're really clean and you're a crowd pleaser, who doesn't love that, you know? So it's a combination of things. Yeah, I like that too. I like it when people can really get people involved. And that's why I was talking about that guy Throwdown that's on the come up from DC. I really like what he's doing because he's got a crowd presence that I haven't seen ever, you know.
When I talk about battles and competitions, you've seen Juice, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That scene is my favorite scene.
Yeah.
When they go head to head and they
Yeah.
start battling. Just
Yeah.
you don't see that anymore. Like I would really love to see an old school, old fashioned DJ Throwdown.
Yeah, I agree. I think the head-to-head stuff's really fun. They do happen. They're just far and few between, and not as popular as the 6-minute full presentation style, where you're presenting the best of you and not competing against a specific individual.
Right.
But I'm like you. I prefer I'm coming at you and you're coming at me and we're going to war. I feel like there's like an aggressiveness to it that I like.
How does DJ Rags prepare for a battle or a competition? What do you do to practice?
Well, you know, I need to do this all the time, but I actually get really nervous, so I'll do a lot of like jogging. Yeah, because it kind of makes my stress level a lot easier to deal with, and then my stress level on the stage is better. So like the weeks leading into it, I'll do that. I get really quiet, and I go over the set over and over and over, and then the day of, like when I'm sitting there and before I get ready to battle, I'm imagining. I like to be really quiet, and I like to sit somewhere where nobody else is around, and I like to think my set out in my mind, like I'm watching myself do the set, because I feel like if I ingrain it into my head, then that's what's going to happen, you know. But it's hard because when you're up there, you start to get tunnel vision, and then you get hyped because you're nervous, and then your hands are moving faster than they normally do, and it's really hard to keep pace, and you just have to like take a deep breath, and you have to keep telling yourself, stay calm, stay the path, stay calm. It's
I'm
not
smiling
an easy thing.
because I remember when you invited me to come do the people who graduated
Yes.
battle. It wasn't really a battle. It was an introduction for the newcomers who came in, and kind of put me on the spot and said, "This is the best scratcher that I've ever had." And I had to scratch, and it was on camera.
True story.
And I had my hair so nobody could see me, because I didn't want anybody to see me.
Yeah.
But I was scared as hell.
I had you and Zima, DJ though. He was in the house. Yeah. And who else did we have in there? We had a young kid in there, right?
There was a guy to my left, and he came in with this guy. And the thing with him is he was really good, but he didn't know how to use the turntables that we had in the room, because
That's right.
he
He was
DJs
using
at
a lot of
clubs,
the
but
buttons
he
on the cues.
uses the controllers at the
Right.
club that he DJs.
Yep.
So yeah, he had a hard time, but he was good once he got it.
Do you remember what you told me? You kind of like compared what you wanted to learn in basketball form.
Mm-hmm.
You said,
Yep.
I want to be the guy that slam dunks the ball.
Right.
360
Right.
slam dunk. I want the tricks. Oh, that's what I want to learn.
There was another guy who Rags was absent one day, and the guy that was filling your spot for like a week, he came in and he was showing us, transitions and stuff like that. And when you came back, you were like, "How was it?" And I was like, This guy was very, very fundamental. He was like the Spurs, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to dunk. I wanted to scratch.
Yeah.
I wanted to, do the crab. I wanted to do all of that
Yeah.
stuff, and he would not allow me to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. When I teach, I like to focus on what people want to learn, because I feel like that keeps them motivated to stay learning. And eventually they'll learn that other stuff. I thought you were a lot like how I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn how to slam dunk.
Right.
You know, I wanted to learn how to do all the tricks. And then I went back and learned all the other
right.
stuff, you know?
The other stuff is easier for some reason.
Yeah.
Some people want to take the harder route.
Exactly.
Producing.
Yes.
85%, maybe 90%. Most DJs transition over to producers. What made DJ Rags decide to transition?
You know, I don't know. I think it was more of a thing where I was watching my friends make beats, and I just wanted to be able to make something that sounded that cool, and make something where I thought, okay, well, I've been doing this a long time, and I have some ideas in my head that I'd like to sound out. I'd like to make the beat without having somebody make it for me or whatever. So Mud, the other guy in the Jazz Addicts that helped me start it, he taught me how to make beats. And then I just kind of went off and did my own thing. And I released an album last year called Seasoned B Shark Steaks. And it's just me addressing my fears.
Wait, say that again?
It's called Seasoned B Shark Steaks. And it's an album where I got MCs and other DJs on it. And I produced a lot of the beats. I had other producers come in. But it was just me addressing my fears. I never put out something that was just me. Like when I put out battle records or when I was in the Jazz Addicts, it was always like this group effort. I wanted to put out an album that was just me and saying, I'm out here, this is what I like to make, this is what I like to sound like. And so I don't like bees and I don't like sharks. So I had the cover drawn of like not just being underground but underwater. So kind of made like these animals morphing into other characters to kind of show, like in music, as DJs, we morph into other things. It's like producing and giving ideas for rap songs and coming up with ideas for rap videos and stuff like that. So it just was like this thing of like, yeah, it's a little weird and wacky, but like there's a meaning behind it, like a deeper meaning. It wasn't just like, let me see how wacky I could be with this name. It actually meant something, you know.
I think that falls into the next question. I was going to ask you to tell us some of the work you have done as a producer.
Yeah, so I've done 3 battle records called Bare Bones Battle Breaks. They were really big in the like early 2000s. You know, I was in the Jazz Addicts. I actually produced some of the beats on that too. I was on this series of DJ compilations called Return of the DJs. And Hubert and Z-Trip and all these other incredible artists were on these compilations. So I was on it twice, which was pretty cool, you know. I've been on a lot of tracks with like I was on the Diamond District album, their last album with Odyssey. I'm working on a bunch of new stuff. It's just, it never ends. Like work with Bo Jenkins, another rapper, local rapper that I like. Well, he's incredible. And then Sketch, this guy named Sketch from VA, he released an EP, and I'm on that. And they just released the song. They made a video for it. So I'm in the video. They filmed me in North Carolina, Fayetteville, North Carolina. I did this big show, and like they wanted me to DJ an event where there was like a huge crowd. It was a pretty cool event, but the video is pretty crazy too.
Quick question.
Okay.
You've done stuff with Cartoon Network's Adult Swim. Does that fall in the same category as producing? What exactly? What was that?
So that was just like it's weird. Like, so the Jazz Addicts thing really took off. You know, they would just use our music, like for their bumpers. Like with Adult Swim, when they'd go to commercial break and they'd have like a still image, they'd play like some of my DJ tracks as they'd go to break. Roxy Clothing used the Jazz Addicts for their advertising campaign for over a year. Quicksilver, when you went to quicksilver.com, there were a couple months where when you went to their website, our music wasn't playing in the background. You know, it's crazy. When you think about it, it's like, I can't believe that.
Which one do you enjoy most, DJing or producing?
DJing. It feels so comfortable to me. You know, it's like in life, there's so many accomplishments, but whenever I just need that good feeling, I can get behind the turntables, and I could just be me. You know, like I could wake up in the morning and DJ, and then look up at the clock and 4 hours went by and I thought it was only 30 minutes. You know? It's
yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing. Like, when people tell me that they're bored, I'm like, I've never been bored. You know, since I started DJing, I've never been able to say, I'm bored. Go create something, you know? Like, go do something. Go watch a video on something that you're passionate about. Like, find what it is that's you and just go for it. I'm not the best. I'm not the worst. But I love it, and I feel like it loves me back, you know? Like, that's what my dad told me. He was like, you know, whatever you do in life, like, do what you love, and it will give back to you. You know, and I put that in the liner notes of one of my albums because I felt like that was like the most beautiful thing a human being's ever said to me. You know? It's weird because my dad's like a stubborn Italian old man. He says some of the most beautiful shit. You know? It's cool. I love it.
Speaking about your father, you're a father yourself.
Yeah.
And I remember once before you said your daughter is not really impressed.
No.
She's not impressed.
No.
How about now? Now that because that was when she was younger, I believe. How about now? Does she use her father's talent for anything?
No, I mean, she'll say like, she'll be like, Dad, you're a dork, but you're not as dorky as the other dads out there. So I guess that's a compliment. You know, when I did I was on Fox 5 News.
You were on Fox 5.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
you were. I forgot all about
that whole morning thing. She was impressed by that.
That got a lot of hype.
There was a lot of traction behind that because I was actually scratching. And if you YouTube DJ RAGZ and Fox 5 News, like, you can kind of pull it up and see it. Like, I wasn't just twisting knobs, and even the newscasters, when I was done, they were like, it was nice to see somebody actually doing something and not just twisting the knobs.
Right.
And that made me feel good because I was really nervous that they might not have dug it, you know, but they had a good time with it, you know.
Okay. Just a few more questions because we really want to get you on these turntables.
Get busy on the tables? Okay.
You DJ'd a private party for Google.
Yes.
How did you put yourself in a position to DJ for Google? Like, that's something really big. Like, did they just like say, hey, come DJ this party for me?
Sorta. I mean, so like, when you DJ a lot, you meet people that are doing maybe not like-minded things, but they're excelling in their own departments.
Right.
So I had known an individual that was creating apps, like phone apps and things like that. And so he hit me up about that. But then I'll get other events, like, you know, ID left to move to Australia and was like, hey, I DJ a party, holiday parties for Virgin Air, like you to take over. So, I mean, that was years ago, and I'm still doing the Virgin Air parties. You know, like, you either get them handed to you on a silver platter, or you get referred, or, you know, somebody's like, oh, I have a friend, you know. I haven't actually ever put my name like out there on like a DJ service or had like an advertisement or anything like that. I've been staying busy just by being me and just being referred by people. But I try to take pride in whatever the party is, that I try to cater to what it is that they want. Because in the DJ battles and the things that I like to do, the DJing is about me. But a lot of times when you do parties, it's not about you. It's about them. It's about their experience and playing for them.
What's out there?
Yep.
What they want to hear.
Exactly.
Biz Markie, Black Star, Acrobatic, Busta Rhymes. You've opened up for these acts. How did you get the opportunity to open up for such people? And that's just a few to name.
Yeah, no, it's cool. Like promoters. So promoters will see me in a DJ battle or like hear my name or maybe watch a video and then just reach out and contact me. It's really easy to get a hold of people, you know, get a hold of me on the internet these days. But you know, back in the days, like there were only a few promoters doing a lot of shows.
Right.
I will say that Busta Rhymes was my favorite person to meet.
Yeah, how did that go?
To this day. He's just a beautiful human being. He's like the nicest guy in the world. We opened up as like a DJ, like 3 DJ setups, 3 DJs, and we did like this turntablist type thing, but we were practicing, and he got there early, and he came up to me and asked me if his DJ could practice with us, and at the time his DJ was Scratch Tour, so we hung out with him a little bit, and Busta Rhymes was very appreciative of that, and showed us a lot of love, and he was just an awesome human, just really cool. The coolest out of all the celebrities I met, you know, or people I've opened up for, I felt like that guy was the most legit and real. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because a lot of people get a bad rap because they probably get hit up so much that they might be like, oh, I can't sign your autograph right now, and then people are like, oh, he's an asshole, he didn't want to sign. But chances are that guy was probably pretty nice. He just at the time it just wasn't
that time
good for him, you know.
Gotcha. All right. Right quick, last question. If you could pick out five DJs to be on an all-star team of yours, and y'all could just travel around the world and just battle other teams, what 5 DJs would you pick out? Doesn't matter, young, old, back in the day. What 5 DJs would you want on your team?
It would be, well, I definitely have to put ID in there. Yeah. He's one of my favorites. Qbert.
Great choice.
Yeah. Chris Carnes. He's incredible. He used to go by DJ Varja. He's really incredible. DJ Beckett from Canada. And I'd want to get a really good beat juggler in there. I'd want to get, well, I'd have to get Craze. But honorable mention would be maybe Total Eclipse. I love Total Eclipse of the X-Men. Yeah, but I'd have to go with. God, that's rough. That's a tough one. Yeah, so many good ones. But
I'm offended. I'm offended.
Oh, well, DJ T, I just figured that, you know, nobody would want to battle you, so why put you in the top 5?
No. You don't have to. You don't have to. No. Don't try to make me feel good now. I'm offended.
I wouldn't put myself on the team.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I think that's a good top 5.
I think it is too, to be quite honest with you. I wouldn't bring you no type of attention if I was on your team. But what we really want to do is we want to get you on these 1s and 2s. We want to see exactly what DJ RAGZ is working with.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
I'll crush your waxed out, yeah. Oh, my advice is to you. Wait.
Oh yeah. 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 Oh yeah.
To get
That was nice, but just know, anything you can do, I also can do. I also can do it better.
All right, there we go.
Just playing. Just playing. I'm not gonna do none of that.
Okay, I cheated at the end. I cheated at the end.
It doesn't matter. You still killed it though.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, y'all.
Appreciate it.
DJ RAGZ. If y'all don't know him, find out.
DJ T in the house.
Give them your info.
Yeah. So
Twitter,
yeah.
Instagram.
DJRAGZ.com has like the Twitter, the Facebook, all that stuff. So you just go to that one site, and you're into Twitter or Instagram, whatever. I have all the links to it on that site. So.
He does parties too.
I do parties, yeah, I do all kinds of, yeah, I'll dance, I'll wear cowboy hats. No, I won't do all that.
No, don't do that. Saloot Magazine.
Salute.